If you're the kind of person who watches blooper reels at 2 a.m. and thinks this is peak entertainment, then you have to watch this video. Let's kick things off with a classic. You know how much we love Friends, right? Well, during the filming of the one with all the Thanksgivings, something absolutely hilarious happened that had the entire cast breaking character for minutes. They're filming the flashback scene where Monica puts the turkey on her head with sunglasses to cheer up Chandler. Sounds simple enough, right? Wrong. What the audience didn't see was that the turkey kept slipping and Courteney Cox couldn't see anything through those sunglasses. She kept bumping into furniture, knocking over props, and at one point, she walked straight into a wall. The whole cast just lost it. Jennifer Aniston was laughing so hard she snorted, which made everyone laugh even harder. Matthew Perry was literally on the floor, and David Schwimmer was trying so hard to stay in character but kept breaking into these uncontrollable giggles. The best part? They kept this energy in the final take, which is why that scene feels so genuinely funny. Sometimes the best comedy comes from real moments of chaos. Oh my goodness, if you're a fan of The Office, you have to know about this one. During the filming of Stress Relief, the famous fire drill scene, things got way more chaotic than anyone planned. So they're filming Dwight's fire drill prank, and Kevin is supposed to break down the vending machine to get snacks. Well, Brian Baumgartner got a little too into it and actually destroyed the machine completely. But here's where it gets even better. When he finally broke through, instead of snacks, a bunch of crew equipment fell out because they had been storing stuff in there. Suddenly, there are microphones, batteries, and random cables everywhere. The Office's Brian Baumgartner reveals his favorite Kevin Malone moment and more, 11:04 to 11:14. John Krasinski couldn't hold it together. He just started laughing hysterically, which set off Jenna Fisher, then Rainn Wilson, and pretty soon the entire cast was cracking up while standing around this destroyed vending machine surrounded by technical equipment. The camera kept rolling, and you can actually see some of these genuine laughs in the final episode. That's what made The Office so special. They knew when real moments were funnier than scripted ones. Chris Pratt, we love you, but you are absolutely terrible at sticking to the script. And thank goodness for that, because some of the funniest parks and recreation moments happened when he went completely off script and broke everyone. The most famous incident happened during a scene where Andy was supposed to be upset about something. I can't remember exactly what because honestly, the blooper is way more memorable than the actual scene. Instead of delivering his lines, Chris Pratt suddenly started doing this ridiculous voice, pretending to be a nature documentary narrator describing his own actions. Amy Poehler immediately started giggling, which set off Rashida Jones, then Adam Scott joined in, and before you know it, the entire parks department was in absolute stitches. The camera operators were shaking because they were laughing so hard. Even the usually composed Nick Offerman cracked a smile. And if you can make Ron Swanson break character, you know you've done something special. Andy Samberg is another actor who just cannot help himself when it comes to improvising. And Brooklyn Nine-Nine gave us some absolutely legendary bloopers because of it. During the filming of a serious interrogation scene, Jake was supposed to be intensely questioning a suspect. But right in the middle of his dramatic monologue, Andy just started dancing. Not like a little shoulder shimmy. We're talking full-on, ridiculous, interpretive dance moves. He was supposed to say something like, "We know you were at the scene of the crime," but instead he started doing these weird robot moves and singing his lines opera style. Andre Braugher, who plays the always serious Captain Holt, completely lost his composure. This man, who never breaks character, was suddenly laughing so hard he couldn't breathe. Then Melissa Fumero started crying from laughing so hard, which made Terry Crews start doing his own dance moves. And suddenly the whole precinct was having an impromptu dance party in the middle of what was supposed to be a serious crime drama scene. The directors loved it so much that they actually wrote similar moments into future episodes. Sometimes the best ideas come from complete accidents. Okay, this one's a little different because it wasn't exactly a blooper in the traditional sense, but it definitely broke the cast, just not while filming. Remember the infamous Starbucks cup that accidentally made it into the final cut of Game of Thrones? Well, what most people don't know is how the cast reacted when they found out about it during the premiere viewing. Imagine sitting there, watching this epic, serious fantasy drama, and suddenly there's a modern coffee cup just chilling in Winterfell like it belongs there. Emilia Clarke apparently started laughing so hard she snorted wine, which made Kit Harington start cracking up, And before you know it, half the cast was in hysterics during what was supposed to be a dramatic moment. Peter Dinklage was reportedly laughing so hard he couldn't speak for 5 minutes. Sophie Turner was taking pictures of the screen and sending them to everyone she knew. It wasn't a traditional on-set blooper, but it definitely broke the cast in the best possible way. Sometimes the funniest moments happen when you're watching your own work. Zach Braff has admitted in interviews that he was absolutely terrible at keeping a straight face during Scrubs filming, and there was one particular scene that resulted in what he calls the longest blooper reel in television history. They were filming a scene where JD was supposed to have a serious heart-to-heart with Dr. Cox. Simple enough, right? Well, right before they started rolling, someone off-camera sneezed really loudly, and it sounded exactly like a seal. Zach immediately started doing seal impressions, which made John C. McGinley, Dr. Cox, start laughing, which was rare because he usually stayed in character really well. But then Sarah Chalk walked onto set and asked what everyone was laughing about. When they told her, she started doing her own seal impression, which was somehow even funnier. Soon, the entire cast was doing different animal sounds, and they couldn't get through a single take without someone making a seal noise and setting everyone off again. They tried for 3 hours to film a 2-minute scene. The blooper reel from that day is apparently longer than the actual episode. The slap bet episodes of How I Met Your Mother gave us some of the most memorable moments in sitcom history. But what you didn't see was how much the cast broke during filming. During the first big slap scene, Jason Segel was supposed to slap Neil Patrick Harris, but he was so nervous about actually hitting him that he kept pulling back at the last second and barely tapped him. Neil kept making these exaggerated reaction faces to the tiny slaps, which made everyone start giggling. Then Jason started overcompensating and made these huge wind-up motions that looked absolutely ridiculous. Allison Hannigan was laughing so hard she fell off her chair. Literally. She just toppled right over, which made Josh Radnor start crying from laughing, and Kobe Smulders couldn't even stand up straight. They finally got the perfect take, but it took them like 20 tries because someone was always breaking character and setting everyone else off. The chemistry between this cast was so genuine, and moments like these really showed how much fun they were having making the show. Community was known for its crazy concept episodes, but the paintball episodes were especially chaotic to film, and not just because of all the paint. During the filming of the first paintball episode, there was supposed to be an intense standoff between Jeff and Pierce. Very serious, very dramatic. But right in the middle of the scene, Chevy Chase's paintball gun malfunctioned and started shooting paint everywhere uncontrollably. He's standing there trying to deliver these serious lines while paint is just spraying all over the place, hitting the walls, the other actors, the cameras, everything. Joel McHale immediately started laughing and couldn't stop. Then Allison Brie started giggling, which set off Danny Pudi, and pretty soon the whole study group was cracking up while covered in paint. The best part? They were all supposed to be eliminated, dead characters lying on the ground, but they were all shaking from trying not to laugh. You can actually see some of them trying to hide their faces in the final cut. Donald Glover later said it was one of the funniest days of his entire career, and Ken Jeong was laughing so hard he couldn't do his lines for the rest of the day. If you've seen Arrested Development, you know about the family's terrible chicken impressions. But what you might not know is that these scenes were absolutely impossible to film because no one could keep it together. The chicken dance scenes became legendary on set because every single take devolved into chaos. Jason Bateman, who usually played the straight man, would completely lose it every time someone started doing their chicken dance. Will Arnett's chicken dance was apparently so ridiculous that even the camera operators were shaking from laughter. Portia de Rossi couldn't even look at him without breaking character. But the absolute worst was David Cross. His chicken impression was so bizarre and unexpected that it broke everyone. Cast, crew, directors, everyone. Tony Hale later said that they probably wasted more film on chicken dance bloopers than any other show in television history. They'd start a take, someone would do their chicken dance, and immediately the entire set would erupt in laughter. What's your favorite blooper moment? Have you ever laughed so hard at a behind-the-scenes moment that it became more memorable than the actual show? Drop your favorites in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this countdown, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe for more hilarious content, and ring that notification bell so you never miss when we post new videos.